Good morning to our friends on Instagram and good morning to our friends on Facebook. This is Mindset Mastery Monday. That's typically on a Monday, but is now on a Tuesday today, just for today, because yesterday I attended a one-day conference with Dr. Joe Dispenza, learning all about quantum physics and the power of our thoughts, words, and actions, which was absolutely phenomenal. If you're not familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, he is creating incredible change, transformation, and elevating human consciousness all over the planet with his wonderful work that is being backed up by science and research. So, Tanj here, Leadership and Mindset Specialist for real estate and property leaders, managers, and professionals, and just wanted to say thanks for joining. And this morning's session is really sharing 12 insights that are impacting real estate leaders in their business today, and 12 things that you can do for immediate impact. I do want to say, morning Flint, lovely to have you join us on Insta. I want to start this message by actually acknowledging all the real estate leaders that are out there. I shot a video the other day just taking a moment to say that if you are a real estate leader, it can be really tough at the moment with all the changes that are happening in the market. And I know most principals are listing selling agents themselves, responsible for generating the majority of the revenue in the business. And then you're also responsible for helping your agents meet their targets. So, and, you know, working with your property management teams to build the rent roll. And, you know, 1 in 5 real estate leaders have never had any leadership training. So it's not easy, and you wear the responsibility of your business, including, you know, paying your monthly expenses and rent and subscriptions and you know, salaries to your team. So not an easy gig. So I just want to start this by acknowledging you and let you know you're not alone. There's a lot of leaders out there that feel like they need some support. So the intention of this session is to give you an insight into some of the biggest challenges that leaders are facing today, and some immediate things that you can implement to impact that result in a positive way. It is based on the research that we did with Kylie Davis and CoreLogic, and you know, we just want to share it with you. And then as you're listening, if you're driving, listen again with a pen and paper and write down which one of these do I not have in my business currently, and what are the impacts, and what would be possible if I introduced it to the business. G'day, Junior. Lovely to see you join us. Okay, so the first statistic is that 73% of real estate businesses are experiencing a less than 10% growth. Now that means the majority of this industry, there's hardworking people like you that are rocking up. Chris Cotton, thanks for joining. You know, frocking up and doing your best to grow your business, and like it's either marginal growth, flatlining, or declining. And historical evidence shows that in the next 12 months, if things don't change, it's likely that 50% of real estate businesses will not make a profit or will not be here in 12 months. That's a significant amount. So we're here to be of service and do what we can to shift that dial and help leaders and teams really fulfill on their potential and the things that they said that they wanted to achieve. Nicole, hey Nicole, congratulations on the block and your #1 purchase in your stunning white outfit. Great job, you. High five, fist bumps. Okay, so that's the reality. 73% are not having any growth. So here's my first tip to you. In these changing and challenging times and all this distraction of disruption and market correction, the #1 thing that leaders who are achieving growth, hi gorgeous, are doing is they're not using the external challenges as a reason to not be performing. I'm going to say that again. Great leaders and real estate teams that are achieving 10% plus growth, in some cases super growth, 40 to 50% growth in their business in these times and this current climate, is they are leading their business and not using that external noise as a reason to not have results. Because in business, in life, consider you can have one or two things. You can have reasons, great justification and excuses and explanation about why you haven't performed, or you can have results. So that's the #1 tip. #2, real estate leaders, most of them, only 1 in 5 have had any leadership training. So most real estate leaders were once an agent that was working for somebody else, had the great idea of opening their own business. And this could be you, maybe you courageously acted, you opened your own office, you got the tables and chairs, the CRM system and phone system, and then you got these things called people who are your biggest liability and your greatest asset. But if you've never learned how to lead and you don't know the language and the art and science of effective leadership, it will be a challenge. G'day, Karen. Lovely to have you here. Karen and Chris, I want to hear from you. Just send me, what is your biggest challenge as leaders today? What are you finding the hardest thing? And those friends of ours on Instagram, what is the hardest thing in leading your business right now in real estate? I'd love to know. So if 1 in 5 haven't had leadership training, and the 23% of businesses that are achieving super growth have had leadership experience, that's the differentiator. It is critical that real estate leaders get leadership training. How do you turn your greatest liability and greatest asset from being your workforce to the life source of your business, completely working together to achieve your unified results? Hey, Ash. Lovely to have your company too. So I'd love to hear, what are your biggest leadership challenges? So leaders must have leadership training, otherwise you'll be leading blind and you'll have high levels of turnover. And you really won't retain your people. And you also won't be able to attract good people, and I'll talk a bit about that. Number 3, 63% of real estate teams say their leaders, this is a big one, 63% of their teams, real estate teams, say their leaders don't take responsibility when things don't go right. Thumbs up from Ash. Now, what do you reckon the impact of this is? Karen, helping staff perform well at work when they're not handling emotional issues at home. Big one. Yeah, actually, I should do a mindset mastery session on that actual thing, because I've got a simple strategy, Karen, and those leaders that are listening, that will help you swiftly shift your team who are coming to work highly emotional from stuff that's going on at home, and bringing it to work and losing focus and lacking momentum in their prospecting. So, Karen, if that's going to be of service, give me a thumbs up or some love, and I will make sure we do that in a session for you. Okay, so if nearly 70% of real estate teams think that their leaders aren't taking responsibility when things go wrong, what do you think the impacts are of that? It impacts trust, it impacts connection, it impacts belief in the leader. But let's look at the distinction of responsibility. Responsibility doesn't mean it's your fault, it's you've got to fix everything. Would love that. Okay, Karen, you're on. Responsibility as a distinction literally means I relate to myself like I have the ability to respond. So whatever's going on in front of me, I might not have an immediate solution, I might not know the answer, but I relate to myself as able to respond. And respond is very different to react. A lot of leaders are reactionary. They just react from fight or flight, especially where we're in fear or scarcity mentality. Many leaders will just react, and that's when connection gets eroded and it interrupts our ability to build great cultures and elevate morale. So as a leader, if you don't stand in the position that you are responsible for the performance of your people and the results of your business, you're going to struggle to actually inspire people to continue to achieve greatness in your business. But here's the caveat. You don't have to have all the answers, as I said. What you do need to do inside of responsibility is just be resourceful. Cultivate answers and solutions from within your team. It's a great way to build an effective team if you ask them for their ideas, if they can see that you're doing your best, if they can see that you're in the inquiry and you're not just sweeping things up under the carpet, if they can see that you are showing up, dressing up just like them and doing your best and looking for solutions or other stakeholders or service providers to help provide an answer to fix this problem, then they'll stick with you and they'll stand by you and they'll work with you. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Here's the 4th insight. 69% of teams said that their leaders did not have the tough conversations when they needed to. This goes back to a session I did some time ago, which is, would you rather be liked or would you rather lead? As a leader, you've got to ask yourself, especially if you're 1 in 5 that have never had any leadership training, it is likely that you will avoid having tough conversations because you'd rather be liked than effectively lead. Now, the impacts of not having tough conversations with an individual is you lose respect from the rest of your team, because they can see that you're willing to allow one individual to affect the culture and the environment of the entire business. Quickest way to lose respect as a leader. So there are some strategies that you can do to have those tough conversations. And it goes back to Karen George's response of how do I help my team? You know, if they're coming to work with emotional issues, then I'm going to address that. But the first thing is you want to make sure that when you recruit people, in your values, you say, if things aren't going to plan, or if you as the new employee or agent are not following our company values, we're going to need to have a conversation around that. And I'm going to remain curious. I'm going to ask you, why are you not following the values that we've set in our business? Have you just forgotten about them? Typically, people just drop their standards. So you mustn't walk over tough conversations. And here's the other thing. Leaders must be willing to speak their truth even if your voice shakes. If you haven't had experience having tough conversations, whether it is working with people both personally or professionally, the only way through is through. The only way through is to start having them. And here's my tip. You can actually start a genuine conversation, which links to authentic leadership, of saying, if I was talking to Karen, you know, I actually feel uncomfortable saying this, but I feel I need to address it because it's currently having an impact on XYZ. And I'm really committed that, you know, we produce great results together, but it seems to me that something's a bit off right now. Let people know that you're uncomfortable saying it. You're human too. You don't have to pretend you've got it all sorted as a leader and you know how to effectively give constructive feedback, especially if you've had no experience. Hey, ode to be skinny. So let them know, you know, this is an uncomfortable thing for me to say, but as the leader who's, you know, responsible for upholding the values of our business, this is happening and I'm curious what's going on, and just open up a dialogue. Okay, so you mustn't step over things that aren't working. Number 5, 59% of real estate teams think their leaders lack authenticity. So that's nearly 60%. 60% of 120,000 people that are working in real estate business in Australia today think that their leader lacks authenticity. Now, let's look at the definition of authenticity. Authenticity really is like the art of being genuine, of being real. And as this beautiful quote says, you don't believe the message unless you believe the messenger. The hardest thing for leaders to do is to keep their people aligned to fulfilling a vision, working collaboratively on delivering on their values and delivering extraordinary client experiences and services. But if your people don't believe you, if they don't trust you, if you're stepping over stuff and you're not authentic, they won't buy into you. They will hear what you're saying in a sales meeting, but they won't be listening like their life depends on it. They won't want to help you build your business. They will just show up, do their thing, and look for an alternative. So how can leaders be willing to be authentic? Well, allow yourself to be genuine. If you've got a clear vision, if you've got clear values, you'll attract the people that are in alignment with your vision and values. You don't have to pretend, as I said before, in relation to responsibility to have all the answers or know it all, but you can speak from the heart and what matters to you. People believe what you believe. They buy what you are passionate about. They're not buying into your strategy. They're buying into what beats in your heart and the difference you want to make for your teams first and then for your communities. So be genuine. Show up as real, and you don't have to have it all sorted. One of the things that really allows leaders and teams to be authentic is to own your mistakes, is to not pretend you're in control or you've got it sorted, is to open a dialogue to say, guys, we've got this challenge going on. I'm actually not sure what to do here, but I'd really love your insight. Create the collective leadership rather than it's all up to you. Thanks, Oh to Be Skinny. Good to hear you're loving this. So authenticity is key because people buy people, not products. It's the same perception of vendors and buyers. They buy into their agent of choice. They buy into their energy rather than just the brand or the logo that they're working for. Okay, number 6, 66% don't measure listing conversion rates. This as a coach blows my mind. Nearly 70% of the real estate industry from a leadership perspective are sending their people out into the communities. They're sending their agents out into lounge rooms and living rooms and talking about, prospect for 2 hours of power a day, but they're not actually measuring how effective their agents are in the living room, at the kitchen table, or at the coffee table. This is crazy because how can you then support your people in upskilling them and building their competencies if you don't know where their weaknesses are? So if you as a leader want to significantly increase the growth in your business, start measuring and managing your team's productivity, particularly in the prospecting space. How effective are they? If they've had the opportunity to connect with vendors and be in their homes, are they converting? If not, why not? You must find out. Otherwise, you've got nowhere to go. And don't keep sending them out if you don't know if they're effective. So it's critical that you actually do that. And if you want a tool to be able to do that, I have a template that I use with my one-on-one coaching clients. Just send a message here or DM me and we'll make sure we can get a copy of that to you. It's populated and formatted, so they just need to input their call targets, connect targets, appraisal targets, listings and sales targets, and you can see how effective they are, and then you can appropriately coach. Speaking of appropriately coaching, please do what is called asset mapping in your business, meaning you have in your business top performers of different elements within business. So top performers of a conversion, top performers in who's doing video content, top performers is, who's selling their properties, faster. So encourage them to, or top performers in negotiation or price adjustments and having tough conversations with vendors. Encourage your top performers to take the lead in your sales meetings and share their wisdom and mastery in service of others rising and thriving within their own business, in your business. A, it helps share the knowledge and wisdom, and B, it helps that person really feel valued and appreciated for the skills that they have, and then they get to contribute to other people. Because the number one thing, I've been doing coaching for 2 decades now, I'm 46. So the number one thing that people want to do in their lives, if I've asked anyone from any industry, is they want to help people. They want to contribute to people. So give your team the opportunity to do that by asking them to share what they do from a strategy perspective. 69% don't have individual performance appraisals. Now, if you listen to Tony Robbins, he talks a lot about the key to happiness is progress. And here's a big mistake that real estate leaders are making. We focus on recruiting great talent. So we seduce them to get the actual business. And then once they're there, we don't have a great induction program, and we certainly don't have performance appraisal programs, formal programs where we sit down together and actually celebrate success, look at the skill gaps, develop a development plan for them to progress. And this is why great people are leaving brands, because if your people aren't coming to work every single day knowing, g'day Mickey, knowing that their future looks brighter as a result of working under your leadership, they are going to look for another opportunity. If they don't see that there's training and development opportunities for them to grow and expand their skills and competencies, if they can't see that their 1,500 home patch is going to extend to 2.5 and they can build a team, if they can't see a future that's bigger and brighter than today, they're likely to leave. Oh, what have we got here? Junior, so much value being given here, and prayers. Mwah. Lovely to have you join us, Junior, and thanks for the feedback. It's all for you. This is all for you. So You must, as a leader, and here's the trick, and that's why I acknowledge leaders in the beginning. It's tough. You're working in the business and on the business. Often you're reacting and not responding. You're navigating the noise of disruption and market correction. And 1 in 5 of you have never had any leadership training. How the hell do you know what to do? And then you don't have the skills to have tough conversations with people, and you're human too. And you wear the responsibility. It's not an easy gig, but everything that we do is about giving you some resources and tips and tools to make a difference. Thanks for the hello, Mickey. So please, you know what? And it doesn't have to be a 65-page document. In fact, make sure it's just a 1-page document. One of the biggest issues I see with real estate leaders is they set their budgets and then they tell their agents what their total GCI should be for the 12 months. And there's no buy-in. And then they wonder why agents aren't actually performing to deliver on that result. Because as a leader, if you just say, okay, Junior, why don't you make $250,000 in, total GCI this year? If we don't know what Junior wants to take home in his back pocket of his great Zara outfit, if we don't know why he wants that money, we have no leverage as a leader. We can't talk to Junior when he's having a bad moment or a bad day if he hasn't been consistent with his prospecting or he's lost focus to say, mate, you said you wanted to buy your first home, or you said you wanted to develop your investment portfolio, or you said you wanted to go and travel around Europe for 3 months. Mate, if you don't get back on the horse and do what you know you need to do, that thing you want won't happen. Leaders have no leverage if you don't know why your people come to work every day. What matters to them? So if you take any advice from this Tuesday Mindset Mastery session, get curious, get interested, and we're about to start a whole new calendar year. Get curious and interested in what do your people want? How much do they want to take home? And once you have that figure, then you can just reverse engineer their strategy based on their average GCI per sale to work out exactly how many homes they need to sell each month or each quarter to achieve that goal. And each month and each quarter as a leader, you want to be fist bumping and high-fiving and celebrating your team's success, or looking at their personal development plan to make sure they have the skills and competencies to rise and thrive to achieve their goals. Because if you want to retain people, you have to have a strategy to elevate their growth so they achieve their goals by design, not by default. Good morning, Vas. Hi, Vas. Lovely to have your company here. So that's my tip on nearly 70% of the industry are not measuring conversion rates, and 69% do not have performance appraisals for their people. Now, number 8, 64% said their leaders don't, this is interesting, 64% of Australia and New Zealand real estate teams said their leaders, their perception is their leaders don't do their fair share. The Queen of Confidence has joined in after Dr. Joe Dispenza. How awesome was he yesterday? So nearly 70% said that leaders, their perception is leaders aren't doing their fair share. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but perception is reality, which means teams are in their offices looking for their leader and wondering where they are and what they're doing. Now, what can happen here is leaders will react to this conversation and they'll go, but do you know what I'm doing? But the impression is that you're not in with your team. You're not communicating. Listen, everything can be created and resolved inside of communication. If 70% almost of the real estate industry teams believe their leaders aren't doing their fair share, maybe you're not effectively communicating what you are doing to work both in and on the business. And this links back to nearly 70% of teams thinking that their leaders lack authenticity. So don't be afraid to share, especially if you're a leader on the tools. If you're a leader that's doing listing and selling appointments yourself, and then you're working late to work on the business, share and communicate with your people how your business is going, what you're doing to grow in service of their growth. Hey, Lloyd, great to see you here. And share with them what you're working on from a business strategy perspective, but better still, Involve them. Have them co-design the future of the business. The more your people co-design the future of your business with you, the more engagement and ownership they have. And then you create a team of leaders so the responsibility doesn't all lie on your shoulders. Then you can have more time to spend with your family and friends. Okay, number 9, 62% say that they don't measure prospecting activity. So we talked about before that nearly 70% don't measure the listing conversion rate. And this is when you're in the home, when you're talking with the vendors, when you've had an opportunity to secure the business. Did you land it? What percentage of your conversations are converting to actual listings in your office? So nearly 70% of leaders aren't measuring how effective we are. But then we've got here that 62% of leaders, their people are out prospecting, they're on the phone, they're door knocking, and we don't know how effective we are. So how can you upskill and build competency in your people if we're not measuring and managing their effectiveness? So we want to be curious. Now, how do we do that? It's a simple sheet. How many calls do you need to make a day? And how many connects are you making? And from those connections, how many appraisals are you securing? That will help you see where your activity needs to go. But you as a leader also need to know your personality styles of your people. Because if you have someone that hates the phone, on the phone, their energy is going to be low and they won't have the chutzpah to go and be bold and ask questions. Or there'll be so much resistance there energetically, people will feel it. So don't put people on the phones if they hate the phones. If they're a face-to-face interaction person, then they should be out door knocking. They should be out in the streets and then the cafes connecting to local businesses. Great leaders know where their skills of their people lie and they put them in their sweet spot. And if you need help with this, we highly recommend that you hook up with Julie Davis and Neil Williams from Agent Dynamics. They are sponsors and speakers of Inspiring Greatness, which is coming up. They're going to do a whole session on how to effectively empower your people to be in flow, meaning doing stuff they love, which means they'll have mojo in their actions. Number 10. This is interesting. I touched on this before. 60% of real estate leaders do not have a formal induction program. We are pretty good at seducing the talent to come along. Many leaders say we've got a great culture, but we haven't backed it up. So an induction program is more of a formalized initiation into your business, where you sit them down and you go through the vision, the values, the strategies, the systems, the resources, the tools, the assets. You share your culture and the way things are. And it doesn't just happen in 3 hours, or it doesn't just happen in a day. If I join your business, what is my experience on day 1, day 2, day 3, week 1, week 2, month 1, month 3, my first year? Those leaders that are seeing super growth in their business treat their people like their clients, and they've got great team engagement programs. They've thought through an induction program where they want their people to feel valued, like they're at a hotel concierge. They've made sure they've got buddy time with other members of the team so they can really get a sense of the culture. And the leaders will take them out for a coffee or take them out for a lunch. Or are you just attracting people and there's your desk and good luck? Oh, sorry, your business cards are a week late. Every single thing that you do in your business speaks to how your people feel and how valued they are in your business. So take a look. Do you have an induction program? Now, if you're a leader listening to all of this, hey, Tanya, great to see you join us. If you're a leader listening to all this, you'd be like, I've got so much to do. I'm so overwhelmed as it is. Hey, Karen, lovely to see you here. Everything that you're saying is just too much to do. I get it. There is a lot to do. And as a leader, especially if you're on the tools, you're navigating, working in the business and on the business. So how do you do this? Well, you must make sure that you have an ideal week where you schedule your in the business activity and your on the business activity, and make sure you position your on the business activity like performance development programs or solid induction programs in times that aren't peak business generating times. And make sure you create team and you invite other people that love working on that stuff to work on a project with you. This will help bridge the gap, and this will help bridge the perception that leaders are not doing their fair share. And I've also got another opportunity where you can really quickly work out a 90-day strategy for success of the top 6 things that you need to implement in your business to see maximum growth in minimum time. So I will get to that. Number 11, this is critical. 58% of real estate teams say that their leaders don't have core values in their business. Now, values are the how you fulfill on your organizational why. Because if you don't know where you stand, you'll fall for anything. And this is where standards of real estate businesses drop, because the leaders don't have clear standards. But listen, as a leader, you don't have to write down 5 core values and stick them on a picture and frame it on a wall and tell your people at maybe your induction that that's what you do. You can design values with your people. And we've been doing this with teams all around the country. Here's my invitation though. Don't just write honesty, integrity, professionalism, because as a vendor, I expect that from you. Write down compelling sentences that inspire you to rise and thrive. Write down specific statements that you can performance manage your people around. It's your code of conduct. It's just the way you do business. The great thing about real estate business is you can completely design your flavor. You can cultivate whatever ingredients you want. Likes that. Hey, Jojo Morris has joined. So it's your gig, it's your business, it's your universe. What do you stand for? What will you not stand for? And it better be clear. Otherwise, you're going to have all of your human resources out there doing their own version of stuff, and you won't get that effective mojo flowing in the same direction. You won't get those, school of fish or flock of birds being one brain, as Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking about, that collective consciousness. There is so much money left on your competitors' doors because people are out there representing your brand and they're not speaking in harmony with who you are as an organization and what you stand for. And this can be easily resolved. So if you want to do some work on your values and your business, I invite you to watch a video by Simon Sinek, international leadership expert. Simon Sinek, one of the most popular TED Talks called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. It's his work on the Golden Circle, and he's also written a book called Start With Why. People buy why you do what you do. They don't buy what you do. They buy your vision. They buy into your values. And if you want to retain great people, which I invite you to be interested in because it costs up to $100,000 to replace a full-time employee, you've got to have clear values. The last insight, this is all from our research that we've done, is, what is it? Oh yeah, 32%. 32% of real estate. I've got my big sheet here with the values here. So 32% of real estate leaders actually share their vision once a year. So this means, hey, Patty Fitz joined us. This means once every 365 days, we are reminding people of where we're going, like once, which means all these beautiful human resources are coming to work with the best intentions, even you as a leader. And when I've done vision and values workshops with teams, people say they know the vision, but when we get a piece of paper out and everyone's writing the vision, there's like 25, 35, 45 different answers. And the impacts of that is you don't have unity, you don't have unison, you have a incoherent pool of resources. Great leaders create coherency with their teams and their energy so you can penetrate the market with solid messages, solid marketing, solid communication in your listing consultations, and people are all beating the same drum and singing from the same hymn book. This is what great leaders are doing to achieve growth in their business. Ultimately, after all of that, so as you listen to these, I invite you to think, which one am I not doing that if I did would really make a difference? Are you clear on your vision? Do you have values in your business? Do you know that there are people that are doing stuff in your business that's actually not working and it's hindering the respect of the rest of the team and it's decreasing productivity and performance? Are you stepping over it because the standard you walk past is the standard you accept? Do you have values? Are you measuring people's prospecting effectiveness? Are you measuring their listing conversion rate? Do your people in your business have a performance development plan? Do they know in the marrow of their bones that by virtue of working in your company, their next 12 months is going to be better than their last 12 months, and therefore they'll stick around? If you've answered no to any of those questions, it's okay, because as a leader in real estate, where most of you haven't had any training, you don't know what you don't know. And this is the reason why we're doing Inspiring Greatness, our 2-day empowered leadership summit, where you as a leader can complete a personal empowerment leadership assessment to get clear about what you don't know and what you need to implement in your business to be one of the 23% that are achieving super growth, 40-50% growth in their business, even with the current conditions being what they are. You'll also walk away with a simple 90-day strategy for success. Exactly, Lloyd. You'll walk away with a strategy, so you don't even need to think about it. You'll know exactly what you need to do when, and then you just need to do it, and you don't do it alone, because I invite you to encourage your team to partner you. This is authentic leadership. Don't pretend you know it all, and please don't do what most leaders are doing, going home feeling alone, stressed and struggling with the reality of the current conditions and not having a plan. Ultimately, why I do what I do is it's just not okay with me that leaders and teams are going home unsatisfied, unfulfilled, stressed out, overwhelmed, and not sharing their feelings with others. This is affecting your health. This is affecting your mental state. This is affecting your emotional landscape. Many are going to substance abuse, and unfortunately some are so overwhelmed they just don't want to be here anymore. That's just not okay with us. So we're here to be of service to the evolution of leadership in real estate and help teams rise and thrive. And why are we doing that? Because my belief is that you and your people and your families and myself and my family, we all deserve to be happy and live deeply fulfilling lives. And I wholeheartedly believe that real estate is an opportunity to fulfill on this. I do. Where else can you change people's lives every single day and make significant money and help them get on to the next chapter in their life? Where else can you do that? And then create your own flavor. And so you're not alone. So if you want to elevate yourself and your team in 2019, if you want to learn what you don't know and then have a strategy and a simple plan and accountability to implement it, join me and an intimate, immersive team of 60 people in Adelaide, Sydney, or Melbourne in November, and come and participate in Inspiring Greatness, a 2-day empowered leadership summit where you'll learn everything you need within 2 days and have a plan to action to see significant growth even in these current market conditions. If you're on Instagram, go onto my profile, you'll see the link and you can click it and get your tickets. There's $200 off them at the moment. There's 12 CPD points in New South Wales, 12 CPD points in Victoria, and between 6 to 8 available in South Australia. There's testimonials on there where you can see how one woman, Amanda Jane Gould from New South Wales, grew her business by 90% in 4 weeks because I helped her find 40 hours in her business that she couldn't see, because you can't see the ocean from the fishbowl you're swimming in. So that's my bold invitation. We've produced the event for you in partnership with realestate.com.au, Real Estate Business, CoreLogic, ListSure, AgentBox, Repit, Thank You, Agent Dynamics, and Property Realm, Smarter Marketers, Chiquita PR. We're here for you. So click the link in the Insta bio and I'll drop the link in on Facebook. If you have any questions, DM me. Oh, here's a phone call. See you soon, guys. Let me know. That's funny. Sorry, my phone just rang. I forgot to put it on airplane mode. And that's authentic leadership, but that's what that looks like, right? If you're as a leader in your business and something happens left of center, don't be afraid. Just go cool, right? Stop trying to be perfect and polished. Be real and raw. People love that. People buy into that. So I hope those 12 insights are useful for you to know, and the instant things that you can implement to see a positive impact were also useful. I know it was a lot of content. I need to listen to this again. Oh, okay. Thanks for your message. Oh, to be skinny, rise and thrive. Hey, that's what's possible. That's what we stand for 2019 and beyond. But don't wait for then. Let's kickstart this now. So book your ticket into Inspiring Greatness. If you've got any questions at all, hook me up. We're really looking forward to being of service. Karen, I will absolutely answer that question of how do I help my staff perform if they're dealing with personal and emotional issues in an upcoming episode. And if you're watching this and you're a leader or an agent or in property management or from anywhere, and you've got a question particularly around effective leadership or mastering your mind and rising resilient in a world of resistance, hook me up, send me a message, write a comment. It'd be my pleasure to share some stuff with you. And if you're asking something I don't know or I'm not masterful in, I'll research it and I'll find something for you. Okay, I really wish you a beautiful day. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. Have a listen to this again and write down what's the one thing you could implement in your business that would make a difference. Take care. Have a beautiful week. Much love to you, your teams, and your families. Mwah. Go be great. Bye, Facebook.